Liberalism is extremely patient. It has to be, as if people saw too clearly what it wanted, they would reject it. So it moves slowly, sometimes extremely slowly. So certain are they in their views that they accept that liberalism is inevitable, that the complete liberal society is put together just like a jigsaw puzzle, piece by piece. It has taken centuries to get to this point, and no one knows how much longer it will take, but liberals believe it is inevitable. Traditionalists call the idea that things are built in stages the slippery slope, that one thing leads to another. But when liberals hear the slippery slope argument, they passionately deny it. They call it the slippery slope fallacy. A major problem with this idea is that the entire history of liberalism is the story of the slippery slope. Each idea is used as a platform to advance to the next idea. Often the argument used is that we cannot stop halfway, we must complete whatever has been started. Liberals refer to everything they do as a reform. We still call it the slippery slope. The denial of the slippery slope argument reveals how liberals fight. They either genuinely cannot see the consequences of what they want, or they simply lie. They know full well the consequences, but are completely disingenuous, denying that there is any further point beyond this. They are what I call the 15-year-old liberal. They are not people of the future or of the past. They exist only in the present, so therefore they cannot protect either the past or the future, because they use both to advance their agenda now, in the present. And to do that, they either lie or they remain ignorant of the consequences. Remember, their argument is, there won't be any consequences, and if they are, they'll be good consequences, completely failing to understand that no consequences and good consequences are not the same thing at all. Let us look at homosexual marriage as an example of the slippery slope. There are two arguments that make homosexual marriage irresistible to liberalism. One, everyone is equal, and two, no-fault divorce, because both are steps towards creating the autonomous individual. Liberals believe that the autonomous individual is the ideal, that a large government and numerous autonomous individuals will be in a world utopia, the perfect society. Now, of course, we don't live in the perfect society, something liberals agree with us about. But to create autonomous individuals, all those things that define people, that bind people, must be destroyed. Marriage binds people, so does family. No-fault divorce is one step on the road to creating autonomous individuals, people who are not bonded to another person, but someone who may find they need a larger and stronger government to survive, because they are now without other forms of support. Liberals are also very heavily into the idea of equality, that there are either no real differences between people or that there should not be any real differences between people. But here in the real world, equality doesn't really exist because people are different. We are unique individuals and therefore we cannot be equal. True equality is an impossibility. But even when liberals accept this, they still believe that there is nobility in the struggle to create an equal world. Maybe. But the struggle to make everyone equal is an exercise in levelling, in reducing every person and making them the same, indistinguishable from each other, by saying, even believing, that any random person can marry, that any random person can raise children. They are levelling each and every one of us. They are saying that there is nothing unique about us. We are all equal. But of course they didn't arrive at this point in one foul swoop. No, they went one step at a time. They argued that a person shouldn't be judged by the colour of their skin, that men and women were equal, that homosexuals are no different to someone who is heterosexual. Whether those things are true or untrue is unimportant right now. What is important is that each step allowed the next step, that once you accept one of these things, it becomes increasingly illogical to deny the next step. The next steps becomes inevitable, no matter how you feel about the issue now. In time, logic will dictate that you must take the next step. Some people are not logical and are able to advance one step and no further. Most people do follow the logical course and end up supporting the next step, even when they say they never will. Marriage is no different. Once we accept that marriage was dissolvable, then it's set in step the next step. Logically, that wasn't homosexual marriage, but was it inevitable that in time there would be another reform, in inverted commas, to marriage? Remember, it isn't homosexuality that liberals support, it is the destruction of marriage that they support. Many people support homosexual marriage because they believe that homosexuals and heterosexuals should be equal. Liberals care more that this weakens marriage, and that is why they will support further marriage reforms. They will claim it is because of equality. No matter how wrong their belief, they always claim to be doing it for a noble cause. The next logical step is group marriage. They will trot out all the arguments about how each individual should decide for themselves. They will show us happy wives and ask them about their sex life. They will talk about how a group marriage is a community and the traditionalists should support both marriage and community. But I know that if I marry 15 women, there are 14 men out there who could never marry, 14 more autonomous individuals. The more destruction, the happier those liberals get. So when you deny the slippery slope, always know that they are wrong.